People don't buy online courses because they want more information. Creating an online course has never been easier, but creating one that people actually finish and apply and rave about, that's possibly a different story, because successful courses aren't built around the information, they are built around the transformation. So, guys, welcome back to the Podcast Profits Unleashed podcast, where we explore how coaches, consultants, and experts can turn their knowledge into authority, influence, and scalable business growth. I'm your host, Karen Roberts, and today I'm joined by Josh Brown, course creation consultant, entrepreneur, and founder of JKBrownOfficial, Epic Course Agency, and Course Selling Society. There's a common thread, is there not? Now, Josh has helped generate more than $30 million in client sales and delivered over 2,000 hours of training to entrepreneurs and course creators, not directors, through his book, End Build Framework. Yep. He helps experts create online courses, memberships, and digital products that don't just deliver information. They create transformation, engagement, and lasting business growth. So this episode, I wonder what this episode is going to be about. It's all about turning your expertise into scalable assets that genuinely change lives while creating recurring revenue. And so if you've ever thought about creating a course or wondered why so many courses never deliver the results that people hope for, then this conversation is specifically for you. So let's dive in. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Karen, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to dropping some nuggets of information on all the listeners out there, and hopefully they can walk away with something to change their clients' lives.
Fantastic. So Josh, a little bit of a backstory. Was there a specific defining moment where you realized that most people weren't struggling to create a course, they were more struggling to create the transformation?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I actually got into this. Is I took and have been in sales and business development and everything for a lot of my career, but I took a side path, and for a decade I was actually a technology education teacher. That's what I did. Was I taught that, and I was a state level curriculum builder. So I have all the way up to PhD hours in education, as well as all the experience in the business world. And back in 2018, I took and I just honestly got burned out of the classroom. All the stuff in the news about the issues in the schools and all that, I finally was like, this is not for me anymore. I did my time. I served my community. I'm out. And I started doing what everybody does when they are thinking about exiting. I started Googling stuff. And and this is 2018. So I started seeing all these online courses and memberships and everything. And originally I looked at them as a consumer. And then I bought a few of them, and I was like, okay, there's information here. It's valuable, but these are trash. They are awful in the way they're delivered. I, as an educator, would never make these programs that have hour-long continuous videos and, 35 steps and it taking hours to get across. I would watch it normally at 2x speed or more. I would then go, this is 45 minutes of actual content. Like, why is this? And it was basically to build value of the fact you just spent $1,000 on this course. People felt like they should get all this time to eventually get transformation, when in reality, those people are just paying for the transformation. It's reverse. It's one of those things, you pay a consultant, so you don't have to sit through those things. So if you paid them $10,000 to get $100,000 worth of results, but it only took them an hour and a half to figure out, you'd be like, great, awesome investment. But you do the same thing for a course, all of a sudden, because it didn't take you hours to go through it, it's a lower value. And that's when I saw the paradigm starting to shift of really where the value proposition, because as a consultant, you also have to tie it normally to income. So I looked at it as, okay, so you have these people coming in, they're buying your stuff. And ultimately, only a tiny percentage, according to statistics, less than 7% of people actually finish and implement an online course or membership. That also includes even bleed over into the coaching world. Is I looked at it and went, okay, so you paid a ton of money in marketing to get these people in. So you have other products they might want to buy. If you get them the result, they will buy more of your stuff. They will tell their friends, they become a brand ambassador. And referrals, affiliate, and everything else is the best type of sale to get, right? So that was the hook. That was the hook I hung my hat on. If they come in, I will show you how to get more results. They buy more of your stuff. They get success. So you're fulfilling your promise and you make more money. Sound great? Let's do this. That was literally where the epiphany came from.
Love that. And that has been, I think, yeah, eternal issue
Mhm.
when people are either selling a course or even they're collecting leads, a lead generation. They're not putting really that much value in it just to get their
Yeah.
email or the course. Like you say, it's the perceived value. So if
Mhm.
they're
Yep.
taking way too long they could have explained that in 20 minutes. And I think that is massive. And the going back to, yeah, people just don't finish it. People
No.
just don't finish. So how do you fix that? So for you, can you walk us through the sort of bookend build framework and explain why it's different from the way most people create courses?
Yes, this is actually completely opposite of the way anybody but a professional educator would build courses. And that's the thing. It's like most people, when they go to build a course, they go, "Oh, I've been to school, I've taken online courses. I should know how to do that." But it's like saying you sat down in a restaurant, you ate the meal, "Oh, I can go home and make this."
Yeah.
You don't have the recipe, you don't have the technique behind it. Courses and things, the difference between really good ones and really bad ones are because the way you gotta look at it is this: the skill and frameworks to sell it are different than it is to service it and create it. They're different because one is motivation to accept the purchase and that you're their person to help. The other one is the motivation that every other noise out there is wrong and you need to stay in here to get the transformation you bought. Different. And not only that, once they purchase, you have to continuously bring their attention back. So that's part of it. Now, the bookend build is my signature trademark framework. And I came with this an epiphany when I wrote my first book called The Course Selling Playbook, which honestly, it's a catchy title because I'm going to tell you how to sell courses. Well, in reality, once you create your course, that becomes the central knowledge bank for low ticket offers, high ticket offers, ultra high ticket offers, because basically it's your encyclopedia for your framework and your process. And that's what a lot of people they look at. Either a course is the destination, or my personal pet peeve is if you put knowledge information in something, no matter if it's 20 minutes or 20 hours, it's a course. To me, a course has a distinct path. If it's short and generally under a couple of hours, that's more of a workshop or something like that. It's not really a piece. So for a course, the way a educator goes about it is completely different, like I mentioned. We go to the end first. What does success look like for your ideal client? Not your top performer, but your ideal middle of the road client. What does that look like? How much money are they making? How much stress is left reduced in their life? How many pounds have they lost? How many widgets have they sold? Whatever it is, and then we look at where is that ideal client starting? Because most people who aren't in the education space, they will naturally go to the brand new beginner. And normally,
Mm.
brand new beginner is not actually your client.
Mhm.
Somebody who started and tried things and has head trash over what they perceive they need to do, and you might have to bust that. So look at where the ideal person is starting. For example, I rarely make products because my ideal client is not brand new in business or this or online space. I normally start with I'm not going to explain sales funnels 101 from
Mhm.
top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. I'm just going to talk about funnels. But if you're doing a
Mhm.
program starting from the very beginning, you need to make sure you accomplish those things. So I look at where are they going and where did they start? And then I look at what are the big transformational pieces in between, not little stuff, because what most people do is they start at the very, very beginning and then they build from the start to the end, right? The problem is what happens? Front of that program gets bloated. It's a lot of extra stuff. And that's this huge amount of effort at the beginning, then it wanes off. And then I've seen this, I've consulted with some of the biggest people in the world for their courses. And it happens to the best of them, is massive amount of effort. So it's like they're literally looking at this hike, and the very first thing is you got to go summit the peak first. It's like, no, let's make even the effort out. So we look at the big things, and then for those big transformational pieces, we call those wins. We call it micro wins, wins, and victory. Victory is they get the result you promised them for an average client. That's victory. Wins are success things along the way that are big, but and require multiple small things to accomplish them. So we look at where are the big things in order, and then under those big things, what are the small things to accomplish that bigger thing? Those are the micro wins. An example of this could
Mm.
be like, let's say in the nutrition space, you have a weight loss program, and I use this as an example just because everybody can easily wrap it in their
Mm.
head. Okay, if you're doing weight loss, you need to think about nutrition, you need to think about movement, you need to think about stress, all of those things. Well, like nutrition, you need to get your diet right. Okay. Under that diet, there's things like you make sure your macros, your protein's right, your fats are right, your calories are right, you're drinking enough water, all of those things. If you get your diet right, that's a win. So
Mhm.
even if they didn't do the fitness part yet, they didn't do the other things, that's still a win. It should be celebrated. But now
Right.
let's add to the next step. Let's get them moving. Let's not even talk about weight training yet. Let's just get them moving. Let's talk about cardio. What are the things to get your cardio dialed in? And then you stack that next one. That's the bookend build, just like chapters in a book. You go through the chapters
Mm.
with the individual things, and then ultimately, I think you end up with a program that's not bloated. It's just the steps you need to get the thing accomplished. And it's
Mm.
not because the best experts in the world, they like to over deliver, add too much stuff.
Mm.
It's like, oh, I think this is fun, so I'm gonna throw it in there. And the problem is, yeah, I think about that program like a backpack. There, it's like you just keep throwing in little stuff as they're trying to climb the mountain to victory, and
Right.
ultimately they finally end up falling over and they can't get forward because they've got too much stuff in the backpack. You want just enough to get the result they need. That's it. That's the game.
Simplify. I know. I'll admit I have definitely had an issue with, overcomplicating everything. And you're right. It comes from a good place because I think
Hmm.
it comes from people, they
Yeah,
want to over deliver, they want to give so much value, but actually
they do.
if you're confusing people, a confused mind doesn't buy anyway.
Nope.
And yeah, you're putting too many obstacles in their way. Actually simplifying
Hmm.
things is always going to be better. Love that approach. And so for you,
Hmm.
where would you say most experts get stuck when they are trying to turn their knowledge into a course like that? Do they struggle breaking those pieces down or what's going on?
It ends up being twofold, really, for me. The first is they have trouble mining it out of their heads because they don't do it in a logical progression, or they don't sit down with somebody who's an expert to help transfer what their knowledge is to something somebody else can use. Because the best experts in the game, they have so much innate knowledge, sometimes they actually skip over the most transformational and best part. They can't think through every little process they just did. An example like I use is this, and it actually comes from my technical education background, is would you rather learn, let's say you wanted to learn how to change the oil on your car, okay? And you have two people standing there. One is the veteran who's been doing it for 50 years, or the one that's been doing it for five, but has recently got out of school 5 years ago.
Naturally, you would go for the veteran because you'd think initially experience, but now you've already shared what you shared earlier. It makes sense because the person who's just learned, they remember the sort of basic stuff, which probably the
Yep,
veteran has we do it automatically and forget
exactly.
that they need those initial steps. Would that be
Mhm.
right?
That is correct. Now, how do you fix that? You're like, okay, this dude on the internet just told me I'm never going to be successful because I am too much of an expert. That was the narrative I know most of the listeners just thought about. Okay, is I'm going to show you a fix it. Okay, the first thing is this: is using the bookend build like I talked about. It makes sure that you go, okay, this is a big thing they need to do, and then you think about the process steps underneath. That allows you to skip the things that are just nice to haves, not gotta haves. And by the way, circling back here and of that extra over delivered stuff, That's where you put it in the bonus for the super high performing people that go above and beyond and always ask for the extra credit. They love
Hmm.
that stuff. Put that in the bonus. You can still keep it in there. And what you do is you walk it through it. And the ultimately thing is, if you're still having trouble making sure you don't skip a step or something like that, or you want to make sure all of it comes out, that's where consultants come in, or at minimum, sit down with a friend and teach it to them. I'm going to walk
Hmm.
you through how to do this. And every time you don't understand, say the word why. Why? Why do we do
Mm.
that? Or how? Things like that when you're going through it. Because that's basically what we call process analysis, when you're analyzing the process of each thing you go through. And this can be for soft skills, this could be for tangible technical skills. Is each step think, okay, what's the individual steps I need to do? And how can I make it work? And the reason why sometimes I tell people it's harder than you think is like there's an old thing when you're building instructional content, it's an old analogy. And it's making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay. Is thinking through what are the actual steps of making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. When you actually do it, it's something like 40 plus steps in reality if you actually do it. You have to pick the bread. What bread are you going to select? What are you going to spread it with? Why did you pick that particular thing? Oh, you picked a knife. What side of the knife should you use? What type of peanut butter?
Mm.
Why did you pick the peanut butter? What type of jelly? What type of tools do you use to spread the jelly? Are you cutting it across? Are you toasting it? It's all these things, and it's an over complicated thing, but it makes you think really ultimately. A lot of things have more steps in them than you think you do.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's very easy to overlook certain steps
Yeah.
because if you've been doing it a long time, yeah, it make that but yeah, I've never had it put like that before, but it makes so much sense
Hmm.
because and I suppose that's the difficulty, isn't it? Is you might have the idea of who your target audience is, but
Hmm.
the ones that actually, but you don't know where they're at on their journey.
Yeah.
You don't know how much knowledge they have. And I remember thinking when I initially set my course up was, yeah, how we don't want to upset the ones who are further ahead, but we also need to help the ones that are further back. So doing it in that way helps just make all of them happy. And like you say, great tip
Hmm.
there, adding in the more complicated or an extra stuff for maybe the more advanced just as a bonus, but don't include it
Yeah.
in the core. So you again, so that you don't confuse people. And
Yep.
yeah, love that approach. So for
Yeah.
you, what is the biggest difference, would you say, between a course that just people buy and a course people complete? Because look, I've done this, I've signed up for things and then totally
Hmm.
forgotten about it. I've signed up for a challenge and completely forgot about it.
Hmm.
I'm sure there's plenty of stuff sitting in my email that, because I hate email, that I haven't actually gone through. So how do you solve that?
The biggest thing is if it's a higher ticket program, coaching, whatever it is. So it's a upper ticket, particularly if support's involved. The first 7 days is the most crucial out of anything. And on top of it, that first 7 days, most people default to, I'm going to send 7 days worth of emails. That'll do it. Yeah, it doesn't. You need to basically give somebody a win that they see the needle moved forward within the first hour of them buying. Now, it doesn't have to be anything huge, just something so they went, oh, dopamine hit to their brain. This was a good choice. That's it. You've just basically, out of the gate, you set expectations, and this is basically the first hour of that person buying it is onboarding. How quickly can you get them from saying yes, hit the buy button on your funnel, or from that sales call to them seeing a result immediately? For example, when clients work with me as a consultant, what I do, and this is the reason why I'm giving this an example, is a lot of people start with coaching and consulting, but the same thing works for courses.
Mhm.
Is the minute somebody says yes, I go, you know what? We're going to get you started right now. I give them the invite to Slack. I give them an invite to my calendar. I give them an invite to all the pre tools right there within the first 5 minutes of them saying yes. I'm going to go, I'm going to give you the first mission right now. Here's the thing, in the next 20 minutes, send me this back. So it's immediate. Yep, they're going and they can see the movement. Because what happens is when somebody hits that buy, there's that little demon in the back of their head goes, was this the right decision? Should I have done this? Or if it's low ticket, they buy it and they go, ooh, oh, there's reels. I'm going to go watch these over here because they
Yep.
probably saw it on traffic. Is you want to basically go, no, nope, come back over here. That's what you want to do. And low ticket and high ticket's different. That's why I gave those two examples. But the big thing is even on low ticket stuff, I'm talking even if it was $7, whatever, you want to them hit buy and they go, thank you so much for buying. We're going to help you out. Here's the first thing you need to do for success. Boom. If they don't do it, they get an email. Hey, you got this thing. I'm here for you. I want to make sure you get success. This is what you need to do. And you nurture them. Boom. You remind them. Those types of things are what 99% of people who make courses, memberships, anything else don't do. And that is the game changer. It's just that little bit extra
Mm.
time, that little bit extra nurture of here's the email on the confirmation page. Hey, I am sending you in the next 90 seconds an email. Check it now. If it's in spam, click not spam because I'm going to give you tons of stuff. Like right then, this is going to be the first thing you're going to do. Here's how you get in. Have that be so seamless that the person can't help but do it. Here's the thing with online course membership programs, things like that, it's not complicated anymore.
No.
If you're using a all-in-one platform or a learning management specific platform, and mind you, we've tested over 24 of them, and I was on the development team helping Todd Dickerson and Russell Brunson build the new ClickFunnels 2.0. All of them have it built
Ah,
in.
I'm a growth advisor for them. Yes, love it.
There you go. That's a call you don't expect when Todd messaged you and say, "Hey, do you want to come down to Atlanta and take a look at
Awesome.
this?" I was like, "Oh, tell me what, tell me when, brother. I am in." So yeah, I went down. That was fun.
Sick.
So yeah, it's all of those things really hammer home that the decision they made to purchase it was right. You're going to be their guide, and here's ultimately the thing. Remember, I said if they get results in your program, get results in your lower ticket, all of those things. What do they ultimately do later on? They become a champion for your brand. They buy more of your stuff. They're more likely to buy your high ticket stuff. You set the tone that you're their person, that you are in their corner, and you're going to be their guide to the success. That's what it
Brilliant.
does.
Fantastic. And yeah, I couldn't shout out to ClickFunnels. If you're doing this, you need these systems in place because, like you say, you can set all this up. You can automate the whole thing. You can automate the fact that, yeah, if they haven't opened that email, I'll send a text. You can,
Mhm.
as I said right at the beginning,
Yeah,
this is the best time to create a course because
a
we've
couple
got
of clicks.
so many tools. So thank you, Josh. I call it the infrastructure. When you combine your authority with infrastructure, guys, you need it. If you're still trying to do
Yeah,
this with software that doesn't have all that built into it, you're making life very difficult for yourself. And so for
yeah.
you, what would you say, what belief do experts need to let go of before they can package and sell what it is they know?
The biggest thing I tell people is most of the best experts have a touch of or a lot, a big old dash of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And that's because they inevitably think, why would somebody want this? Or why me and all of that. And they see other people with these massive social followings or the flashy videos and all of those things. And ultimately, they forget that it's not all of those people were inevitably, unless they came in with a giant trust fund and somebody funded a marketing agency for them, or there are unicorns in the marketing space. You're going to catch some 20 something that managed to hit the algorithm just right, and all of a sudden they sold a whole bunch of stuff. Is A, you don't actually need as many buyers or as clients as you think you do to have a successful expert business. And the other thing is, people buy from people that are similar to them. And if you solved the problem that they're looking for and you identify with them, they're likely to buy from you. The
Mm.
only way you can't be successful is one, not create opportunities to get you in front of them, get eyeballs on you. So that's traffic. So that's either with organic posts, social media, podcasts, whatever, and be consistent with it. And and I always tell people, particularly with that, if your bandwidth is such that you can only really do one that to concentrate on, pick the one that your ideal audience is on regularly. If your audience is on Instagram, do Instagram. If your audience is on LinkedIn, do LinkedIn. I started out literally on a original Facebook, not even page, but profile. I was back all the way organic when everybody was just in the DM over there, like organically on like Facebook profiles and Facebook groups. That's how much of an OG I am on these things. And get eyeballs on it and focus not on the inclusions of your program, but the transformation it creates. Because as experts, we like to focus on all the cool little things we put in, how we get them through it, when ultimately nobody cares in the beginning, except you identify, yep, I know you have that problem too. I solved it. This is why. And this is how you're going to feel once it's done. Because
Yeah.
even on a sales funnel, the thing is ultimately at the top of that actual funnel page, the first third of it is emotional. How much this sucks, I commiserate with you, and this is how I'm gonna fix it. The middle section is, I get it, you've tried other things, this is why mine's gonna work compared to yours, and the end is, if you don't make the decision now, this is how you're gonna feel, it's time bound. So it's emotional, analytical, time bound. Every funnel in the world, that's how it operates, okay? And
Brilliant.
that's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thank you for saying podcast because yeah,
Yeah,
this is really what I go on about every single week.
yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't even like social. I don't want to spend all my day on social media. I don't even want to try to come up with different types of posts, engagement posts, or this post, or that post. And so for me, it's then easy because I just use the podcast in different formats. We're having this conversation today, so I'm able to create content from this for all of the
Yep,
social media platforms, whether it's written, audio, the
yep,
video, it's done. It gives me
yep.
back your time. And I know that's not for everyone. So you go do what works best for you. But yeah, you just got to get over it. And okay, imposter syndrome yet? Would do, can I ever get over it? Will I ever get over it? I still have it
When I
now.
get over it, I'll let you know, okay? Let's put it that way.
Okay. Yeah.
The thing is ultimately, and this was actually something one of my good friends, Bart Miller, actually taught me, is great guy. He's known as the $1 billion cowboy. Is we were in a program that basically was about building your on-stage persona. And part of that was from a book called Alter Ego, where basically most of the people in the spotlight and things like that, when they are one to one and not in front of the camera, in front of their audience, whatever, they are very different than when you see them one to one. One to one versus
Hmm.
stage is very different. When they're recording content or all those things, it's a different person. And that's one thing that can help you get over imposter syndrome. At least in my instance, it worked very well. Was going, okay, on camera and in the spotlight, Josh is a different person than family Josh and hanging out with my friends and things like that. Is you turn it on for when you're doing your
Mm,
work. Like for me, when I walk downstairs, I turn off the ego and I tone it down and I'm dad and I'm
mm,
husband. But when I step in my office and I'm looking at my cool painting behind me, I got my cameras on, all of that. This is me. I am actually, if I turned this off, I am a quiet introvert who would much rather putter around in my garage fixing stuff than be presenting. But I've
right.
presented on some massive stages. I've presented for Russell's Inner Circle. I've been on giant launches, and I am the CTO of a men's personal development brand with multi-million dollar CEOs and all of those things. And I turn it on. And if you put it that way of, okay, business, whatever your name is, and you have a ritual to turn that on, that will help you get over going, no, I am a machine. I know what I'm doing. And for me, I have a ritual of when I do it, when I turn it on, and it helps me get past it because on stage, Josh, everybody wants my stuff. I know I'm good at it. I know that it's worth a ton of money. And if you want it, that's how we do this. I turn it
Hmm.
on. And it sounds egotistical, but that's what's in my head to get past the past it. Even when I go do a stage presentation, I took and did one last month, and we had about 200 and something guys in a room presenting with people that are mega huge and things like that. And I was presenting on some specific things. It's like I go through a ritual of like, okay, standing on, get ready to go. I'm going to present this, and then bust open the door. And everybody says they talk to me individually. And the minute the mic gets in my hand or the camera turns on, it's like be turned on.
Love that.
And that's what it is. And also it reiterated, it's actually fun side note. I actually have a bachelor's degree in theater. I was I actually that's where my undergraduate degree was at. So it's basically an actor skill. You turn it on.
Yes, get into character. It's so funny
Yep.
you say that because we literally 1 hour ago we were having exactly that same conversation for people within ClickFunnels to help them get over certain thing or not be offended or not
Yeah.
take things personally when getting on the phone with people. So it's talk about timing. That's fantastic. Yeah, you got to get into
Yeah.
character. What's your
You do.
character going to be? Brilliant.
Exactly.
Fantastic tip. And so, look, there's so much out there, right? And a lot of entrepreneurs, they might believe that the course
Mhm.
market is saturated, which we know it's not. What would you say to someone who's convinced they've missed the opportunity?
Tell yourself in your head, you are wrong and learn from your mistake. The biggest thing is this knowledge and education has been around since literally there were cavemen in a cave showing them how to use a spear to bag dinner that night. Oh, you do it like this? Oh, yeah, like this. Totally. Okay. Let's go try this. And some other dude went, yeah, like this. Literally, you can see it in the cave painting drawings. Okay. Literally, that's what they were for, explaining how to go bag a wildebeest or whatever it is. So the the markets just constantly change and you have to shift to that and you have to look at what the sentiment of buyers are. Right now, buyer sentiment's insanely low. Trust is low.
Hmm?
People are still buying. And I saw somebody I happen to like them a lot for who they are. I don't like their post, so I'm going to omit the name from it. But there was a very large personality that was saying coaching, consulting, and courses are all way down. Switch to ecom. And it's first of all, I don't have any interest in selling widgets. Thank you very much. Tried that early on in my entrepreneur career and it not for me. I'm good. And not only that, super volatile market is I think the non-hackers that was shiny for a while are going away and the people can't pose anymore. Be fake. So you had a lot of these, wannabe coaches and wannabe consultants and flashy marketers, but with very little substance, are
Hmm.
going away. And we're seeing a massive uptick
Mm.
in millennials, Gen
Mm.
X, and all that have massive experience that were finally, they got honestly pissed off enough. They saw this person with 18 months of experience and read a couple of books is somehow this $1 million consultant. Game
Yeah.
on, game on, and they're stepping in.
Right.
Also, the threshold of technology has gone way down. The buyer sentiment's lower, so they're looking deeper, not just at a flashy funnel and some striped screenshots. Does this person have real world experience? How many years? How many people have referred to them? They're looking at a lot less quality and more quantity. Not that they have 35 different screenshots from a Facebook comment. It's, oh, that big name person says they're good. Okay, maybe I should
Mhm.
listen to them. We're seeing a lot more of that. And then the other
Mm.
thing is we're seeing a lot more people going with what I call an appetizer offer, where it's something that's a taste of your product and it allows you to understand how this person works and if they're good for you. That's the reason why typically we actually really don't use a lot of lead magnets. Literally, the only thing in my ecosystem that's free is I do a newsletter. That's
Right.
it. Is because I want people who have raised their hand and willing to invest in what they do. So we do anywhere from $7 to generally $67 offers to give people a taste. It's a mutual, hey, you trust me, I trust you, and they can taste it. We're seeing a lot more of that coming
Ooh.
through.
Right.
Generally, the market went down because I thought it was bloated for a long time. 2019 through 2021, people are selling courses that really, in reality, probably should have been $100 for 1,000 to two, things like that. And we're seeing a lot of hybrid offers too. People not necessarily dropping 1,000 up front. They would rather spend $47 to $100 a month in a membership or a continuity program than drop a big amount up front again because its sentiment is low.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is ever changing. At the launch of AI, do you think AI is making it harder or easier for experts to even stand out?
I think it's making it easier for experts to hone in on what they need to do and get help in things that honestly were overcharged to begin with, or at least giving them a baseline to get started. A lot of the stuff that was causing some people to look massively more successful than they were just because they were really good wordsmiths are not necessarily working anymore because people get really good looking funnels and really good sounding emails and things like that with some tweaking of AI. Do I think it's
Yes.
causing some fluff and noise in the industry? Yes. But do I think it's causing a downtrend? No. I think people are getting really attuned to what is AI and what isn't. And not only that, there's a lot of people
Mm.
trying to be good at AI and they just aren't. We use it extensively. I'm literally on my other screen over here. I have Claude Code that just sent me a bunch of stuff I had it working on. And there is a big difference. And actually, I was on a podcast the other day with this, and we were talking about it. Is people need to realize that there is also integrity in saying you are an expert, you can get them what they need to do. And when you're looking at buying programs, things like that, do a couple seconds of research, scroll through their social media. What, 2 weeks
Hmm.
ago, were they a crypto expert or were they a copywriting
Yeah.
expert or were they fitness expert and now all of a sudden they're an AI expert or they were this and then they bounce between stuff? They're just a trend chaser. Look for people that have multiple years of experience. Look for people that have actual results, not just how much money they personally have made or have made for
Mm.
their clients. You need to just realize that true experience is where it's at. And if you need to pay a premium for it, it's worth it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And going back to why I love the fact that get on a podcast, guest on
Hmm.
pod, because you can't fake that
Yes.
then. If you've written a load of stuff, and that's why I truly believe this is going to continue to increase, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, AI could write your funnel for you. AI could write your course for you, possibly. AI could create your
Hmm.
post. But when you get on, I could have said a few minutes in, this guy knows his stuff just by the way you articulate and explain everything, even without knowing your background or anything, you can tell because it's conversational. This isn't a scripted AI podcast. It is just two people having a conversation. That's why I do believe that people they need to use it because, like you say,
Yeah.
people are going to be shouting out more and more for authenticity because they know the posts that have been written have just been written by AI. So they
Yeah.
don't even know. And I love what you said about giving people a taster. This is what we try to do: is give people a real taster of what it would look like working with you, and then
Yeah.
our higher ticket offer is the actual implementation of that. Fantastic, and it's a little bit of validation for me as well. So I think I'm on the right track. So,
Yeah.
with regards to people creating an online course, where should it sit, if you like, within that sort of entrepreneur's authority ecosystem, alongside
Hmm.
whether that's podcasting, whether it's books, whether it's speaking on stage and coaching? Where does it fit?
Yeah. This is actually the entire thesis of my agency, which we decided a couple of months ago that was going to be the Expert Ecosystem Studios because it's a place for people to go to create, and it's a whole ecosystem. That's literally what we do. And I had an epiphany. God was sitting there one day and was just like, and I was like, let me try that out. One of my good friends, Brian Delaney, he's an epic marketer. I said to him, Epiphany, this is what I had. He was like, yes. And I was like, bought the domain. Ha, suckers. I'll buy now. So what I tell people to do is course is part of your ecosystem. I look at it as being the map, the outline, the framework for everything else. So what you do is I start there, and that would be considered your mid ticket, but it's just a vehicle. So that you could take a small module or lesson out of that course, and that becomes your low ticket as a taster. Because at the end of it, you go, hey, do you want to have the rest of this? Upgrade to the full program, the natural segue. You could take little tiny chunks out of it to make social posts. Because one of the best social posts you can have out there are nuggets of training.
Mm.
Here's the thing, you could literally deliver your entire course of social posts, but as long as you didn't do them in order, nobody is going to get all of your secret
No.
sauce. Okay. And also, people pay for the transformation. So, because
Yeah.
I get people all the time going, I don't want to put it on social. They're going to know my secret sauce. I'm like, first of all, they're not, nobody's busy going to go through and get all of it. And not only that, it's, they don't have all the helpers. So look at that as your primary piece. And then the course can be delivered as just a standalone, hey, buy my thing. And that's fine. Or the way I like to do it is do it with support. So let's say your program ideally should take 60 days to go through. So what you can do is say, hey, we have a group that goes with this. And it normally takes 60 days. But because we know life happens, we're going to give you 90 days of support. So basically, we have a community or a Slack or Voxer or whatever. As you're going through it, myself or one of my coaches can, as you hit roadblocks, we're going to help you through it. Also, remember what I said about that first week? That is where you're going to nurture them. Make sure they get through. Make
Mm.
sure they give all its support. That's now you could have an upper and a lower mid ticket. Then you can look at it and go to those people. The upper piece, you have all the frames that you can do it for them. That's now your high ticket because the problem with a lot of people with high ticket is they don't know how to articulate what you're going to do. All those things they had to do, you now do and serve it to them on a silver platter. That's your high ticket. Same transformation. You now have 3 price points. And now
Yeah.
here's where the super secret magic comes in. Everybody ready? Moonshot offer. It's your
Moonshot.
ultra, it's your super high ticket. Take that whole thing of how you can do it in the quickest, most high touch possible way imaginable. I'm talking the most VIP thing ever. So let's say you do fitness coaching. Okay.
Mm.
So your low ticket is you get a week's worth of meals from me and some workout videos. Okay, that's something 50 bucks. Okay. What if you wanted a 90-day coaching program with daily motivation and a accountability group? That's now your mid ticket. Same thing, your program, you're walking them through it. And your high ticket is once a week, we hop on, I do your macros, I do your stuff like that, all of those things. That's your high ticket. Your moonshot offer could be something like you can fly to me or I fly to you for 30 days. We're
Mm.
going to do and I'm going to be with you 6 hours a day. I'm going to cook your meals. I'm going to be with you on your workouts, everything else. And it is 30 grand, whatever. It's just
Mm.
moonshot something. And here's ultimately the thing. Is that unethical? No, because you're not
No.
forcing the person to buy it, but you're honoring how much time you have to commit to them. Some people want the luxury of luxuries and they're going to say yes. And if you don't have that type of offer, they will go to somebody else. For
Mm.
example, with my agency, we have low ticket stuff like books and workshops go with them. We have a full program people can walk through with support. We have an agency where we take them through a 90-day launch. But then we have one where you literally work with me, you work with my business partner, Brian Delaney, you work with a studio owner, Jet, and you sit down with each one of us for 2 VIP days virtually. And then we fly you to a studio that we record everything. So literally all you have to do is read off a teleprompter.
Amazing.
And we give you, what is it right now, 6 months of social content.
Ugh,
Is
yeah,
that
and
for
people want
99% of
that.
people?
No,
Absolutely not. But if
no.
somebody wants that much a la carte, if you don't have it, somebody will be the one that takes it. So you have to serve people at how they want to consume or think they need to with the opportunity to upgrade it. Because
Love
that's
that. I mean,
ultimately a thing. So is that, as I jokingly refer to as moonshot offer, going to be for 99.9% of people? Absolutely not. But it also allows people to know, here's how much it is to work with it. Mind you, I'm just ballparking prices, everybody. You have to look at your industry, what people are willing to pay and things like that. But along the same lines, look to see what others that have that level of a high touch
Mhm.
or that much of of things and speed. Even Alex Ramosi talked about that. It's like, how could you do an ultra premium one? It's like normally editing is a week. Or
Yeah,
if you want to upgrade, they'll be ready in 4 days. What would it take to have them ready in 2 hours?
yeah.
Somebody's going to
Brilliant.
pay for it.
Great tips. Great tips. Love this conversation.
Me
And I
too.
do want to sort of
Fired up.
pause on that because look, because I think this is where sort of there are so many entrepreneurs, they just get stuck. They can spend months creating content just for their social media, or they might record videos, or even if they're building a course, they're building modules, but they haven't stopped to ask, what transformation am I actually creating? What is the big promise? Nobody wants to buy, let's face it, nobody actually wants to buy a course. Not one person thinks, I'm going to go and buy a course today. They want the transformation that the course is offering. And you're right. I do think that so many people miss that point totally. Who wants to go get a course through, I don't know, 10 modules? If simplify, so I'm getting from you, simplify one thing that you can open up and then have that higher ticket offer, which, yes, I don't have. So maybe I need to work on that because they'll only buy rather if they truly believe that you can actually help them get that.
Yep.
If there are people listening and hopefully we change that, of course, world is saturated. Now to do it right. What should they do next? What would be the next logical step for them to come into your world?
The biggest thing I would say, and I just want to reiterate this, is you're going to resonate with somebody. It's all how you voice it. That's it. It's how you're going to voice the transformation while you're their person. That's the ultimate thing. And if you
Mm,
can't get people to see the value in what you do and you're their person, you can't help them. So if you're not marketing,
mm,
you're not helping. So that's all the
mm.
thing. And something also, that armor piece, I want to reiterate. It's something Dan Kennedy said. If you haven't pissed somebody off by noon, you ain't marketing. So you're going to get some hate. And that's when you put on the armor and go, yeah, that person knows nothing. I'm awesome. And you put it on. So yeah, the
Mm,
biggest thing I would say is that look at what the successful people have done. They surround themselves by people that can accelerate their growth. And entrepreneurship can be a very lonely place. And you need to
mm.
surround yourself with people that can help you. You need to surround yourself with people who have been there and done that. And make sure that you're working with coaches like yourself. You're launching a podcast, or you can work with me if you want to do a courses, or find somebody who's doing copywriting, because they're going to cut the difference. And they also are going to be able to help you filter to be able to see outside your own lens, because they're going to be able to see that different lens of how.
Totally. Fantastic. And so where do people find you then, Josh?
You can find me on basically all social platforms at JKBrownOfficial. And you can also check out our studios at expertecosystemstudios.com and also jkbrownofficial.com. And you can check all of
Fantastic.
it out there, grab a copy of the book. We got a couple of new ones coming out over the next probably 60 days and all of that.
Brilliant. And guys, don't worry. There were a lot of links there, but don't worry. All of Josh's details will be in the show notes, and make sure that you go back to that. So, Josh, thank you so much for your time today. And guys, look, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought, because Josh has really been talking my language, and to have somebody that is so successful, it's validated what we try to do here, because he's talked a lot about creating that transformation, not just delivering information. And the same principle applies to podcast guesting. So people don't remember every tip you share, right? They remember the stories that changed how they think. And that's exactly why I created my free story bank GPT. If you notice, Josh shared a lot of stories, right? Now, this helps coaches, consultants, experts uncover and organize the stories that are hidden inside their experience. And if you, like me, I'm not a great storyteller naturally, it will help you actually deliver it. That will help build the trust, it will help communicate the transformation, and it'll help you position yourself as the authority. Now, you can access it at podcastprofitsunleashed.com/free. And if you're ready to build an authority system that turns conversations into clients, my mini course, and I think I've got some of the things in there that you were talking about today. I might have to go back and add a few things here. But my podcast profits funnel is available. It is only $5. Now, Josh, what I do to try to encourage people to consume the content is I dangle a little carrot. So, yeah, you'll get the course for $5. If you take action on it and complete the course in 5 days and complete the short assignments in the community, I will give you access to one of my trainings that is part of my $5,000 offer. I give it to you for free. And that will help you sell without actually having to do a sales call. Who would like that? So guys, go to podcastprofitsunleashed.com/free. You got the free story bank, and then it'll direct you to that very short 4-part mini course. Got to take action. If you do, I've got a reward for you. So look, Josh, you're talking my language. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been wonderful. Listeners, I will be back next week. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to today's episode on the Podcast Profits Unleashed podcast. If you're